This time here, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Coventry Zoning Board of Review and just to make things move along tonight, I don't believe we're gonna hear the appeal. Am I correct?
That is correct. It has been continued to January 9th, 2025 at 7 PM.
So if anybody's here for the appeal on, where is that?
Main Street.
Main Street, Coventry. Okay, the repeal will not be heard. Okay, at this time here, I'd like to point out the fire exits, your rear exits to my rear take you into the building. So the two fire exits to the rear. And also, I'd like to, call to order, or do an attendance. Can you do an attendance, please?
Bob Crow,
Here.
Russ Lockley,
Here.
Keith Cloutier,
Here.
Glenn Doig,
Here.
Ron Pelletier.
Here.
Okay, let the record reflect that we have 5 members present tonight. Also, approval, I'm gonna have Russ do the approval of last month's meeting since I wasn't here. You don't mind, Russ?
No problem. You all have a copy of last month's minutes. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we approve the minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Okay, I think we can jump right into new business tonight, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have the secretary please read the application into the record.
Owner applicant is Jeff de Blasio. Location is AP 305 Lot 61, 309 Twin Brook Lane. Zone is RR3. Applicant is seeking a dimensional variance to construct a 20 by 30 by 11 garage in the front yard setback.
Okay, is the applicant here, please? Good. Can you please give your full name and address for the record? Okay, I'm gonna ask you to raise your right hand. I'm gonna swear you in. You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Thank you. Do you need anything else for the record?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Explain to me in your own words what you'd like to do.
I want to put a garage up on the front left side of my house. Reason I want to put it there is I want to put my plow truck that I have and I want to keep it there. So when I have a very long driveway, it's like 750-foot driveway set way back off the road. So I'd like to have the truck in the garage. So when it snows, I can just come out plow in the driveway. It's really the only good spot for me right now. It's already a cleared area. I'm kind of doing nothing with the area. It'd be a perfect spot for what I need it for. I didn't realize there was a variance about being in the front of the house, but it's not like I'm on no one can see my house from the street. I'm set way back. You can't even see the house itself and I live at the end of a dead end road.
You're in on the official side?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm all the way at the end.
The very last house before
Correct. Right before actually the
You
Twin
need
Brook
an
Lane-
ATV to get to the other side.
Correct, right. That road that would go to the other side, I'm up the hill
Yep.
there. All the way in the back.
I'm pretty sure I made delivery to your house.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The garage that you're gonna put up.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to see that even from,
No, you're not gonna,
Not with the
nobody can
flyover.
see it.
it's like you say, at least 700 feet back from the road just for the garage, 750 for the house.
Right.
Um,
And there's no neighbors on either side of me or behind me or anything. I'm surrounded by woods. So it's not gonna be an eyesore for anybody. I could see if I lived on a street, regular neighborhood where I was 30 feet from the street. I wanted to put a garage in the front.
Gonna have electricity going to it from lights in the doors.
Eventually, yeah, hopefully.
No, you're not gonna put anything else, no other utilities, no water or.
No, just the garage.
okay. Any other members have any questions?
These loose pitches that were in the packet, is that for this?
Yeah, those are What I did was I had him submit
Yes,
pictures,
that's
so
the
you can
garage
see.
you're gonna
That's the
build?
garage, yeah, basically, yeah, that's basically the garage.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
others are just looking from the bottom of the street, looking up my driveway, and then another about, 3/4 of the way up the driveway, and then the area where I'm gonna put the cleared area would be,
Yeah.
yes. I think so. I took one like from my front porch, looking where
Yeah.
it would be, you can see.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, the left corner.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
behind that car. And that's coming up the last, say, 3/4 of the driveway on the right there.
I have no problem.
I don't see anything.
I don't have a problem.
That's not a bit.
Lenny, how do you feel?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good. I don't see any problems.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. Now, I'm not, obviously probably not gonna build till the spring now because I got delayed with all this. How would that, I just applied for I had already applied for the permit originally. They told me I couldn't do it.
You'd have to go to the
So
planner.
you have to be mindful that the variance you are granted is only good for 1 year.
Okay,
So 1 year from the date the decision is recorded, you have to either complete the project or show that you've made good progress
Right.
along the way. So if you're waiting till the spring, that shouldn't be a problem, but
right.
the clock is ticking once that decision.
Oh, yeah, no,
is
once it gets
recorded.
rolling, it won't take
Yep.
long because people I hired are gonna just come and install it within a couple of days anyway, once it's ready to go.
You're
It's
gonna,
pretty
you're gonna
much,
put the foundation in separately.
right. Foundation's gonna go in,
But once he starts the foundation, he's going.
right.
I'm sorry, once he starts the foundation, what?
Once he starts the foundation, he's committed himself.
Right, but I just want him to understand that he has a year from the date that the decision is recorded to complete the project. I mean, you can ask for a 6-month
Oh,
extension,
no, I
but
shouldn't,
we've run into problems in the past where people didn't realize that the clock is ticking once that decision is recorded.
so that's as of today, you mean? like-
No, that's so,
No,
so once the decision is signed and recorded, I'll send you a copy. I'll mail
Oh,
you a
okay.
copy.
Okay.
And then you'll see the date that it was recorded and then you have from there. I mean, you shouldn't be a problem, but I'm just letting you know because life happens.
I just wasn't sure. Am I supposed to wait to get to apply for the permit?
Yes, once you,
Once
yep,
I get all that
Correct.
applied, I don't know if you wanted me to wait. to
Yep, you
spring,
can't-
or-
yeah, once
so
you
it
get the
matters.
decision, then you are more than welcome to go and apply for the permit.
Okay, all right, good enough then.
all right, sir, I'm gonna ask you to take a seat and see if there's anybody has any questions on the application.
Okay,
Does anybody here have any questions or like to speak on the application? Anybody would like to speak in favor or against the application?
Anybody online, Cody? Ask him to.
It's gonna raise their hand in the audience and online.
Is anybody online have any questions on this application or anything? Please raise your hand. Okay, I guess we don't have it.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, I'll make a motion. We vote on this tonight.
I'll second.
I agree on that. Let's see now, motion's been made. I need a second on that.
Second.
Ron? Okay, Ron seconded it. Chief, made the motion that we vote on this tonight. All those in favor say
And
aye.
Mr. Chairman, should we include the findings of the staff analysis in the
Yes.
decision and forego ratification on this matter also?
Yes.
Yes, but Alco, yes. All
We gotta do the motion first.
right,
We're gonna, the motion's gonna be that we vote on it tonight and then, and in
Include the staff.
approval, we're gonna approve the staff report and, bypass the ratification.
right. Okay, at this time here, I'd like to have a motion to approve, vote on this tonight. Russ, you want to make that motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second,
Seconded,
And that would include the ratification too, I would assume.
Waiving the ratification
Waiving.
and encompassing the, staff report.
Right.
staff report, okay. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Nays? Ayes have it. Okay. I'm gonna start off with, Ron, will vote. How do you vote on this application?
Approved.
Ron approved, chief?
Approve.
I also approve.
Keith,
Keith,
approve?
Approved. Lenny?
Approve.
Okay, applications approved as presented with the staff. Okay, thank you for coming. All right,
Good luck.
next application is,
Next application is Thomas Conley. Location is AP 38, lot 44.0010 Alaska Street. Zone is general business. Applicant is seeking a use variance to construct a single-family dwelling in the general business zone.
okay, the applicant here?
Yes,
Okay, solicitor?
where's yours?
Okay, give your full name and address.
Thomas Cronin, 1070 Main Street, Coventry, Rhode Island, attorney for the applicant.
Okay, applicant, please give your full name and address.
Thomas Conley, 10 Blue Mist Drive, Lincoln, Rhode Island.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you both to raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth in front of this board? Okay, I'm gonna have the attorney present the application, please.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So, 0 Alaska Street is plot 38, lot 44.001. It's mostly zone general business. There's a small slice of R20 in there. 7,000 square foot lot. It's currently vacant land. The lot was created by administrative subdivision in August of 2024. This lot and the one next to it were made up originally of 6 small platted lots, and those were split into 3 and 3 to make these 2 lots. And now 001 is a vacant lot where we would like to construct a single-family home on that lot. The problem with that is that in the general business zone, you cannot construct a single-family house. So I'm here for a use variance so that we can construct a home on the lot. So this is just off of Tioga Avenue. And this board and I have dealt with this issue several times over the past couple of years on Idaho Street, on Arizona Street, now Alaska Street. It's the same thing. 200 feet from Tioga Avenue, some planner, I don't know when, drew a line indiscriminately parallel with Tioga Avenue, no offense, Doug. This lot is on the boundary between the designated general business zone and the boundary with the R20 zone. In this particular case, that line doesn't reflect anything about the reality of the situation. This is a 100% residential street. Every lot that touches this lot contains a single-family home. There's no commercial or business use on this street or in this area. Across the street are more single-family homes. There's no business culture, parking, it's a 25-foot wide side street. The general business designation is without consistency with reality. So what we're suggesting is to build a single-family home here. And in order to do that, we need to get the use variance from the general business zone. The access, vehicular, pedestrian, utility, you guys know the standards all off of Alaska Street, so that'll be the frontage of the lot. There are reduced setbacks because the lot's only 7,000 square foot lot. Obviously, if we apply the R20 setbacks, there'll be a 35%, there'll be a 65% reduction from R20 to 7,000, but the house will be built within the applicable legal setbacks. There's water and sewer and electric available on Alaska Street. So the request here is a use variance. In order to get a use variance, the board is well aware that we have to show that the proposed use would not alter the general character of the neighborhood, that the placement of the zoning boundary and the surrounding uses is not due to any effort on the part of this applicant. This neighborhood just grew as a residential neighborhood rather than a business neighborhood. That the request is the least relief necessary. The lot can't be further divided, so that's why it's the least relief necessary. And the lot would not yield any beneficial use if required to conform to the ordinance. In other words, there's no business scenario that would fit in this lot. So that's our presentation to the board. Really, the evidence in support of our application is the neighborhood. It's really the surrounding uses rather than this lot in particular.
Okay, any more questions from the board? Would I have any questions on this application?
Mr. Chairman, I just got a question for Doug.
Yep.
On your staff analysis, Doug, it says for use variance application is higher than for dimensional variance application. Can you just give me an idea with that?
Sure, happy to. A use variance application is uniform across the board. The standard of review is that the applicant has to show that if the use variance wasn't given, the property would lose all beneficial use. Now, I'll describe it as this. There's use variances and then there's use variances. This is a case where I think that the end result of this project is something that staff don't have a concern with. In fact, I would have a greater concern if they tried to approach this with a use allowed by right, like a restaurant, another business that was in there. I much prefer to see this, but the degree is that you have to agree with the finding that the granting of the use variance, if it wasn't granted, would lack all beneficial use. I just wanted to raise to the board's attention. It's a different standard than dimensional, but staff is supportive in this case.
Okay, so everything fits here,
Yes,
so, he's not in front of us for any envelope or any,
not at this time. There's no proposed structure being sought. They're just looking for the ability to pursue a single family dwelling.
okay. All right.
How much frontage is on Alaska Street?
70 feet,
75 feet?
70.
So,
The lot adjacent has 75. This lot has 70.
Oh, okay, yep, okay. Thank you.
but he hasn't come up with no plans or nothing.
Nothing yet, simply because we need this approval to know what our building envelope will be, to know what our street access will be, before we invest further.
Okay. All right, let me see if there's anybody else here who'd like to speak on this also. Another board member has a question on,
I'm good.
okay, does the executive board have any questions on it? They want,
No, I've got no questions on this.
okay, is there anybody here that'd like to speak on this application? Either for or against? Mr. Murray, please come up.
Paul Murray, 26 Alaska Street.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth in front of this board?
I do.
Okay.
I have no issues with building a house there. But the letter I received is they wanted to put a storage building there. 3 foot off my boundary.
Hmm.
Which,
Do you have the letter? Doug, I'm gonna give this to you, so you can make sure that it's correct.
and the only other issue I would have is the elevation. Because it is a flood area,
Yes.
okay? So I think the town should have to do something with this street before we keep building stuff. Last year, there was over 2.5 feet of water in that road.
I don't know if I can force the town. I agree with you 100%.
You know the area.
It's a very tough area to work in. And, but I think we're only gonna force, if we raise the street, we're only gonna make it worse.
Now, if you raise the street, you're gonna make it worse.
That's right.
But if his property is raised, it's gonna hurt. I have a house in the back of it and a house in the front of it.
So if they raise the house where they're gonna
If they
build,
raise the elevation,
they're gonna push everything towards yours.
correct. That's my concern. And the other two neighbors.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out how,
What, is there anything that the town could do in regards to drainage to make it better?
They can fix it, yeah. Increase the size of the pipe. You know, I've been there 66 years. It's been flooding 66. 65, next year, 60, January. But,
Are you in a butter? Are you in a
Yes.
butter?
yes,
What lot is yours?
I'm across the street, 26 Alaska. And I own 23 Colorado.
Okay.
Through the chair,
And again, no problem with the house. It's just, I think we should address the water problem stuff.
Okay, let me,
through the chair, I just want to note that what the gentleman brought, it does look like a standard zoning board of review notice. It does say three-bay garage. We're also have in our file another notice, same property, a notice by the same applicant that shows the single family, so it's unclear how this notice got out. So we have a record that a single family notice went out, but clearly this gentleman received this from the abutter. It could have just been one errant letter. I'll put it to you this way. An abutter that receives an errant notice has a position where if they wish to appeal the project, they certainly could appeal the project based on process. The real question is, if that's your goal is to appeal the project.
I'm
If-
not appealing the project.
Yep.
It should have been sent out correctly.
I agree with you. And,
Okay.
and you're correct that that particular notice that reached you was incorrect. From our records, it might have been the only one, and I can't explain why. That's an action that the applicant takes. I can only,
I believe the other neighbor has the same letter.
is that
interesting.
another neighbor?
The three-bay garage? Okay,
That was,
So-
was that in front of us before?
No,
No.
I don't know, because the letter that was submitted with the application is the correct letter. It says, single-family detached dwelling prohibited in GB zone, seeking relief to construct a new single-family home on a vacant lot. So that was what was submitted to us, so I don't know where this three-bay garage.
This change of use, though, could we stipulate that it can only be a residence, only be a home?
so I think that, what's happening here
Yeah,
is
but
that there
since
is
we
a, there,
got two,
say again?
we get two notices that are incorrect.
Well, I'd say there's one notice that's incorrect. There's one
Two.
notice that's correct.
No, she has
She-
Oh,
one.
well, yeah, okay, so yeah, there could be multiple
There's
people
multiple.
that have a copy. There could be multiple people holding on to an incorrect notice. There
Right.
could be multiple people holding on to the correct notice. We know that the correct notice does exist. My take is this: any party that feels aggrieved by this application that received incorrect notice has the ability to appeal. And they could appeal based on the fact that the notice was faulty. And I think that that appeal would be successful. However, if the parties are not seeking appeal or are aggrieved, the applicant assumes the risk of the fact that there may have been an applicant error in sending out notice. At the end of the day, the application is on the agenda correctly in front of you. In our files, it is correct. Everything that you have in front of you is correct to acknowledge this is a single family house request. There's no doubt in our
But I have
minds
the
that that's
public
what you would be
coming in
approving.
front of me, telling me that they have an incorrect notice.
Correct.
So therefore, a correct notice must be sent out.
Well, you have two options. One is that you can say, let's do this again. This would kick the application off to, are they at February now? Or could they catch in January?
I could possibly catch it and I'd have to just update it tomorrow.
So the two options through the chair is that, and I'll ask the applicant to speak to it after this, but they should be hearing this as well. The two options in my mind are that the board could consider, that first, the board could decide that due to the notice issue, they wish to have it reheard in January, and then there would be renotice sent out. The other option is that the board could consider granting a decision tonight, understanding that it's the applicant that is at risk if any aggrieved party should appeal based on the grounds of notice. Now, if there's no aggrieved party that wishes to appeal, you are free to make the decision. The agenda is correct. The materials you've received are correct. You are in your position as the board, in a position to make the decision on the application as it was proposed. The faulty notice is an issue, but it's an issue that the applicant has to live with as a risk. I'll let the abutters speak to if they have any other issues that they would seek appeal, and then I'll let the applicant speak to it on their position.
Well, the only other thing I have is anything I've ever done in that neighborhood, I had to send out registered letters,
Yep,
and it cost me a lot of money.
sure.
What is different?
What do you mean?
The law.
Well, are you saying why a first class mailing reached you instead of a certified? Yeah, the state law changed just recently within the last
Registered
year.
mail, Signed.
Yeah. State law has changed on that so
It
that,
has,
that they have
okay.
reduced that standard.
Oh.
But it is clear to us and to the board that we would be looking and reviewing a single family home use, nothing on the ground yet, just the ability to, pursue a single family use. So
Okay.
if you and the other abutter do not feel aggrieved by that, that might be helpful information for the board to consider.
Again, I have no problem with the house there.
Yep,
I just want to know what's going,
understood.
okay? The other only issue I has is elevation. Because Arizona Street, Montana Street, you let them build it up that high, and you push water. And you know the two properties. So if that happens over there, we're gonna have problems in 4 houses. Big
Understood.
problems.
Yeah,
The one right behind it's on slab. You're gonna have issues. So just keep that in mind.
understood. And I think the applicant's hearing you, and also the town has to ensure that for any building permit that's pulled, that the property can't create additional runoff off the property
Well-
than it starts. So whatever it runs off that property today, that's essentially what the applicant has to maintain after their construction.
If it runs off their property into the street cannot keep up with it. It cannot keep up with it now.
So that the applicant can only be held to the standard that everyone is, which
Well-
is that they can't make the stormwater issue worse on their property.
That's why I think the town should correct the problem. In
Well,
the street.
That could be a discussion for a different day, but as part of this application, we can't discuss town actions. What's in front of us at this moment
Yeah,
is just the
all right.
consideration to allow the use of a single family house without a design of it yet. Any building permit would still have to be designed to show no increase in runoff of stormwater off the property.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr.
Please come up, speak if you'd like to, miss.
My name is Tracy Kemmer. I live at 9 Alaska Street.
And raise your right hand. I swear to tell the truth, not to put the truth in front of this board.
Absolutely, yes. My property is to the right of the vacant lot. The solid line is where the, let me get my paper here.
You
Can't
on
see.
lot 45,
Yes,
you're right next door to it.
yes, I am. The solid line is the boundary line, where Coventry surveyors surveyed that property. I am the dotted line next to it, which is the boundary line for the past 30+ years. Late or mid-90s, this fence was put in. And I would like that to continue to be the boundary line. This.
I don't think I can change the boundary. Refer to my attorney. I have to go by what the survey says.
Did you hear what she said?
The boundary.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was-
just to pick up, there's a fence on the property. She wishes for the boundary line to become the fence line. That's not something we can do.
I
Well-
don't think we can.
that
but
fence was put up in the 90s by, I want to say, at least 2 previous owners.
Well-
And, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the idea is that if you have a certain issue with the fence, I think you should definitely bring that up. I think the applicant, that might be an issue that you could just cooperate around.
Absolutely, yes.
It's not something that the board has the power to change the boundary line of the property through this application.
Okay, so I did have a conversation with the lawyer. And since I purchased this home, I put up several fences. From my house to the fallen down, broken up fence that was there. 13 sections of fence. So we had come to an agreement of leaving the fence there. And now I have two gates, one in front of the house and one in back of the house that goes to that fence. So I would like to see if something can be resolved, so I don't have to take up the cost of that.
You're looking for help on the cost of just the gates?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, I think that's something the applicant could speak to, after, I want to make sure you get the
Okay.
comments that you want to on the record, and then
And-
the applicant could speak to that.
and also the flooding issue, I do have video and pictures of the flooding that happens on that street when there are torrential pours down. I can't even get out of my driveway. So if the ground was built up any higher, it would flood my home completely because it floods the basement, which is the crawl space. And I cannot get out of my driveway.
You're built on a slab,
I am not, I have a crawl space.
but your crawl space floods right in.
Absolutely, whenever it downpours. And I have video and I have pictures of that.
All right, I'm gonna refer to the applicant's lawyer. So
Okay,
maybe I can solve some of them, maybe I can't solve any.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Before we jump to the applicant's response, I suggest asking if there's any additional public comment.
Yes, is there any additional public comment on this application, for, against, or you got somebody online? No, no one online, huh?
If you're online and you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand in the Zoom app.
All right, at this time here, I'd like to refer to the applicant's attorney.
Sure. So I guess first and foremost, I've discussed the notice question with the applicant. And he would prefer to proceed with the notice that has been sent, knowing that he's accepting the risk of some question being raised at a separate time.
I don't know if I like it. maybe
Well,
mine.
that's his preference. In regard to the flooding, as Doug had indicated, all builders are held to the same standard, right? To not make any flooding any worse than it currently is. That's the DEM standard. Everyone lives by it. So I don't know what the current conditions are. No kind of extensive testing has been done as far as that goes, but we'll obviously abide by that standard. We have no choice. That's the standard. And finally, I did have several discussions with Ms. Kemmer with regard to the fence. I gave a similar answer to Mr. Igliozzi to you, that it's certainly not within our power to change the boundary line of a lot. So we did offer to move the fence that's currently there back to the boundary line identified by the survey, and move the shed appropriately so that the fence would fit, kind of thing. And then the issue with regard to the perpendicular fences to our house has come up, and the discussions have kind of stalled out at that point. But certainly, it's not an area that's crucial to the development of this lot. It's not going to interfere with our proposed use, and it's not going to interfere with her proposed use. And if she wants to take the necessary steps to bring an adverse possession action as she suggests, she could do that in the future. I wouldn't think that we would plan to undertake any kind of like boundary line movement on our end. It's not an area of land that interferes with the use of this lot in any way. 2 feet 7 inches at its widest point. So down to I believe at the very base, I think Sam Floss identified it as about 6 inches. So that's where that currently stands. So yeah, we're here today for just the general use discussion. Can we move forward with trying to design this lot for a single family home based on the area and the neighborhood. And we're willing to go forward with that question, even being aware of and acknowledging the questions with regard to notice which have been brought before the board.
Okay, my question on notification is 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Even if this is noticed and somebody doesn't like it and say, wait a minute, I have an incorrect notice.
Right. There's a 20-day appeal period from the
Oh, there's only 20 days.
20 days. That
So
that
nobody
has
can
not changed.
complain after 20 days.
That's right.
But if somebody got the wrong notice altogether,
Do we have any idea how that happened?
I don't. I was discussing it with my client. I'm not really sure. The letter
I feel much better.
in my file,
re-advertising.
it says, you know, for single family use in the general business zone. I'm not
Oh, my
really,
paperwork's.
yeah, but I'm not, I mean, clearly he received it.
Hmm.
There's no question about that. So
So you didn't send out the notices.
I think I did send out the notices because I submitted the affidavit of notice
Right.
to zoning and the one that I have and the one that I supplied to zoning says something different than the one that he received. I can't explain it. I don't know. I don't have anything in my entire file that says what he received.
And your client is proposing to build a house there and not a storage unit.
That's correct. Single family house.
Is he planning on staying there or is he going to sell?
Sell it.
So, yeah, but the notice is completely wrong because it says it's gonna be a storage unit.
Well, it's not completely wrong, but it is incorrect. Yes.
What's the return address on the envelope?
Sure. It's your address.
Sure. But, Mr. Igliozzi is going to make that, notice an exhibit.
Just because we're talking.
Sure,
about it.
yeah.
Nobody else has a copy of that except
Two
these
people.
people in the audience.
Well, that's all we know of.
I think it's clear, if I'm not correct, Mr. Cronin, that this notice came from your office.
I believe so, yeah.
It just, an incorrect notice went in the envelope somehow or other.
Yeah.
So it's not that, and yet you prepared the correct notice that you gave to the clerk, and we have the correct notice, but the one that got sent out. to
I would
these
take a look
people,
at it. you know,
Probably everyone,
See how
an incorrect notice.
it's gonna affect.
That seems
Nobody
fair.
else sent it, right?
Yeah, but
Do you know how many
Frank-
people are on the
I've-
butters?
Not that I'm aware of.
Quite a
It
few.
It was just
So densely
subdivided in
populated.
August.
Am I taking a record?
I'm sorry.
Seems a little, more than I can decipher. The last thing I got was the solicitor asked him, Mr. Cronin, how many people were on the budding
Just,
butters list?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just handed the affidavit of notice to the solicitor.
Probably somewhere in the order of between 50 to 100 notices went out. Is that fair? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, letter from Mr. Cronin's office,
Here's a copy of the what address.
That's the envelope.
This is
yeah,
the
you
envelope.
wanna see it? Cronin.
It is.
I'll tell you the truth, I'm not comfortable with this at all.
That's why I asked to see the envelope.
I gave the envelope to the solicitor.
I'll outline what I see as the options of the board. The board could basically suggest to this applicant that they should withdraw the application based on the faulty notice. And then the staff would work to see if we can get them back on for January.
Yes, I'd like
But
that.
that's one option. And we should poll the whole board to get a sense of the board's preference. The other option is that it's the applicant that's taking the risk for the 2 or perhaps more faulty notices that went out. Again, the applicant is at risk of being appealed for a faulty notice. It's clear that there would be standing and that appeal would be successful. If the aggrieved parties don't wish to appeal, then the board's decision can still stand. It is properly in front of you tonight because it's on the agenda correct. You received all the correct materials. Everything that you received is correct. And I would dare say there's a good chance the vast majority of abutters received the correct notice, but perhaps a few did not. Those are the options, is that you can make a decision tonight, or you can suggest to the applicant that you're not comfortable and withdraw. And my suggestion would be to poll the board on your feeling on that.
Okay,
There's one more option. Because the notice in the paper is correct, the notice with the Secretary of State is correct, the application is correct. It could just be continued to a date certain and just ask that a corrected notice go to those abutters. That's a third option,
I like that.
instead of having to withdraw and refile and re-advertise, because the advertisement is correct. The Secretary of State's notice is correct. So there's no open meetings violation, there's no advertisement problem, but that's a third option. If rather than, if the board's uncomfortable with having going forward, that would be the least expensive option, would be continue it with just sending, continue it to a date certain with the correct notice going to all the abutters. Again, I know you want to.
Is the applicant,
Hang on, I have a thought. So we have two people in the audience that don't have the rights. Look, we have the 66 notices. We have no way of knowing how many were right or wrong. So if you think that's not a quick fix for work, I'm all over that.
That's, to me, that's the least expensive option that completely corrects the record. It removes
Correct what we have in front of us. We don't know that there might be other notices that are out there that are incorrect.
No, it's gonna go out to everybody.
Oh, it's gonna go out to everybody.
A brand new notice is gonna
Brand
go
new
out to
notice.
66
I stand
people.
corrected. I misunderstood.
That's how, everything
I
else
thought
is staying
too.
the same, but we're continuing this meeting to a date certain because all the notice and the advertisement in the paper with the Secretary of State is correct. Right, there's three elements. Is the Secretary of State's notice correct? Is the newspaper advertisement correct? Yes, yes. Is the notice to the abutters the problem? Yes, we could continue it to a date certain, correct the notice to the abutters, just send the corrected notice to the abutters. And I know Mr. Cronin doesn't want to do this, but that would be the least expensive option without any risk. And I just throw that out there. If the board's gonna not let you go forward, Mr. Cronin, I want it to be the least expensive way.
all right. Mr. Cronin, do you have any complaints with doing that? Russ just made a motion that would send out a notice.
Pardon me one moment.
Okay.
Yes, repeat.
So the, Mr. Conley will agree to, continue to a date certain, resend the notice.
Okay. That's what
Mr. Chairman,
you're
I
gonna
make
make
a
a motion?
that we continue it to January meeting, January 7th,
No,
9th.
January 9th at 7 PM, 2025.
And that should be noted, that meeting will be at the Town Hall Annex Auditorium.
I second that motion.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All members who agree, say aye.
Aye.
Any member disagrees, say now. So I don't hear no disagreement. Okay, so at this time here, motion's been made that we're gonna send this to January 9th. Now, there's gonna be might be a slight problem. I don't know if I'm gonna be here, January.
I'd say then, quick poll of the other 4 members that are here. Will you be able to join us on January 9th?
Ron?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
You're gonna have
Four
1,
to have
2,
a meeting
3,
will be-
4. You're gonna have 4.
That's fine. That's more than, one more than we need.
All right. Now, I might be able to still make it. Not sure.
All right.
Okay, so this will continue to January 9th, and at that time, you're gonna send out new notices to all the neighbors, correct?
Same list, yes.
Same
Is it
list.
January 8th? 8th is a Wednesday.
Right,
Thursday.
there was a problem with the council chambers and then we had to move it to the 9th.
Okay, tonight, that's what I thought.
Sorry.
Okay, at this time here, well, members have made a vote that they going to continue this to January 9th with a correct notice sent out. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion
We adjourn.
to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Ethan.